It's a beautiful afternoon in Boca to finish out this 3-game weekend series with the M2 Tampa Spartans and the Florida Atlantic Owls. Welcome everybody to South Florida. My name is Devin Serra, riding solo for the third and final game of these two competing. Our producer Mitch Liswith and our great Owl TV production staff on hand with these two squads that have now built a history. Tampa won game one 9-2 with 7 different goal scorers and a resounding 6-goal third period. Meanwhile, the Owls come in losing last night with an overtime winner by Jacob Penetrante of the Spartans, his second multi-goal game. Only had one last year, dating back to their win over Alabama when they were an AAU Division I team. So this series sits at 1-0-1 for FAU, 2-0 as Tampa locked up the series win. But Florida Atlantic, ever important, they find a way to get some more points and ultimately look for a victory against the team that they were outmatched with in game one and competed on a comeback down 3-0 yesterday. As we get set to bring you the lineups for both teams, we will step aside for a moment and let you listen to the starting lineup announcements and the playing of the national anthem. Starting netminders for both sides. The visiting Tampa Spartans going for the sweep of this series tonight. They'll put back in there Sebastian Fontana. Back-to-back starts for the native of Toledo, Ohio. Made 31 of 35 saves yesterday for his first win of the season. A good bounce-back performance after he had a rough go of it with South Carolina 2 weekends ago. Gunnar Stevens has the net to our right for FAU. Just one start this year for him in their win over Georgia Tech. He stopped 26 on 28 shots and only played in 4 games last year. The foul-mouthed Massachusetts native will have to be good against a new-look Tampa line that they have been shuffling in and out players with all of their depth. The starting lines for Tampa, pretty standard. They get Holden Havlovic back in there. Some very good results from Cole Valise, but they've got Caden Hardy back in the lineup tonight along with Albert Lyon. Their captain, Danny Griffin, number 44, will man the helm at defense. And on the FAU side of things, along with Alex Moeller for Tampa, will start. FAU will go out there with the top line. They reunite Jackson Neuendijk with Brady Bazier and Jake Murphy, who slides back into the D position. Leon Biller along the wing and Olivero to join Murphy at defense. We're ready to go. Tampa looking for 3 on the weekend. FAU looking to salvage this series. Tampa off the hop gets the first touch. They will feed it for Albert Lyon. Started in game 1, not yesterday, however. Still looking for his first points on the year. Racing in behind the FAU zone, Jake Murphy got his stick lifted and turned over for a moment. Getting in there Hardy on his first shift, the starting line will dump it in on behind Stevens, and they'll make some early changes in this one. Devin Serra riding solo with you, our producer Mitch Liswith on Owl TV. Biller heads a pass for Neuendijk, who connects. Bazier forwards it deep into the zone. Biller gets back to it. They'll swing it on the right wing. Coughed the puck up. FAU did to an open defender in Havlovic, who will press his man to the boards, and out they want to break it. Now at the near boards, bounce it off for Murphy. He'll flip it into the air. Glove down by the captain, Danny Griffin. Turnaround handle by Cole Valise. He's had a whale of a series. Somehow didn't have a point yesterday, though. Owls get numbers to the far side of the ice. Turned it over now, as that's Ronan Keenan in the middle. With shot attempt by Stapert allows the Owls back the other way in transition. This is Finn Moore, the defenseman, making his second consecutive start. He was disqualified in the second game against Miami last weekend. Back into the attacking zone. That was Blaise Pepe, got worked over. After it, Cole Satter-Dahlin has a really good series going for him. 2 goals in their 9-2 win on game 1, and then an assist yesterday. He gets barreled over by the big body Ronan Keenan, standing at 6'2". Kuchia with a quick dump out as he needs to get off for a line change. We'll send out the third unit, and we'll call that icing against FAU. Tampa led by Nick Kuzlik in his 3rd season. He has led them to prominent success. Of course, the AAU Division I national champions last year. He was a former captain of 2 seasons and led this Tampa group to multiple nationals appearances during the pre-COVID years. His assistants are Evan Hoffberg in his first year, who mans the forward lines, and Cam Sacco, who runs the defense in his 3rd year along the Tampa bench. Off the ice goes number 91 into the lineup, James Lawhorn. How about a series for Lawhorn? He's been all over the place defensively. Scored his first goal of the year in night 1 against these teams. Whistle from behind us was from practice going on. We get back going with this game now. Tampa unable to turn the blue line. I thought they wouldn't have it out. Moeller did a good job getting there last minute. Penetrante, 2 goals and the overtime game winner last night. On the far wing, it's held up. Good job with the defenseman Tyson Sylvia. Hasn't started too many games this year for Tampa. I count this his 2nd as they give it back to the Owls' alternate captain in the defensive zone, Ziemba. Jake Murphy, right wing, leads it over the line, gets tripped up softly, just lost an edge, no call. Daniel Tove trying to bounce around defenders. He gets hounded over by Tim O'Connell, big body number 18. Now Satter-Dahlin reverses field. He'll get back alone. Has a man down below him. Tove and Murphy want a sandwich. O'Connell can't come up with it. Ziemba now after it, and the Owls are out. Stabile from the neutral zone gets hammered Good job by Cleary back on side and getting muscled down. Penetrante. Some open ice to work for Oliverio, who lost handle of the puck, and because of that, he was offside with Daniel Tove. Florida Atlantic, coached by Christian Long in his third year as well, the AAU Division II national champions. His assistants are Mark Renner, Josh Haverstrom, and the trainer Mike Flaherty. Off to a 4-2, 1-0 start to the year now with that overtime loss to Tampa. And now 1-2-1 in division play. Every point matters, as there's only 3 teams in men's Division II this year in College Hockey South. These two and Florida. Tampa, big hit late on the far wing, knocking a man over. Zealand got a good man racing in the middle. McCann just too far away. Reclaimed by Cleary. He'll skate wide, put one in front off the stick of Gunnar Stevens. Now back to the point, keep it deeper. Off the back of the goal, after it on the far wing, Cleary, number 19, reverses field, and the miscommunication, unable to get after that, was Albert Lyon. He'll retreat all the way back as Sebastian Fontana touches behind the goal. They'll cross the ice, east to west. This is Danny Griffin, drop pass, left it there in front, trying to dance around defenders, goes hard to the net. Stevens blocked it away, back up to the point, some quick movement. This Tampa team does it better than anybody else in the conference. They try to get it in the middle, intended for Havlovic, and broken up by Biller. Sent it far corner. After it is Lawhorn, number 91 in black. Baser hooks, trying to find the puck. Lifted as Lawhorn keeps it on side. Left-hand chance, blocked away by Stevens. And Ziemba in white will find a lane to exit the zone with 5 minutes nearly gone in this first period. Tampa has scored first in both games this weekend, and they've had the 2-0 advantage as much, even 3 goals in both games as well. Finn Moore, number 2, defends the hard-charging Braden Giederman well, number 13, as back to the own blue line. This looks like it's going to be icing against FAU. They'll shuffle the top line out there. And talking with Nick Kuzlik ahead of this contest, you know, he was not very pleased with the way the third period went. Obviously, the team giving up a 3-goal advantage, allowing the Owls to come back off of 2 power play goals on a 5-on-3 and a 5-on-4. And things got really out of hand, considering that they were perfect on their power play, 5 for 5, and then couldn't score on 3 of them last night, as there's a short angle shot stopped off the mask of Stevens from Jake Stapert. Tampa went 1 for 4 in the power plays on that game. They were perfect 5 for 5 with a power play goal in the first period, the second of the game by Alex Moeller, number 3. And then they went cold turkey after that. FAU was able to capitalize. Jake Murphy with a big night, 2 goals. He has it, number 22 in white. There's a clapper from the point, missed wide of the far post, and rimmed all the way out to the neutral zone, where it's collected by Lawhorn. He'll go D-to-D, swing it this wing for Giederman. The alternate, Felice, captain, will get it out of the Boca Ice logo. Intercepted as Jake Murphy wants to spring up ice. He stays on side with Leon Biller. Rather, Blaze Pepe dropped it for Keenan, tries to get around the defense. He's pickpocketed by Lawhorn, and that allows Tampa with space. Right wing, Fontaine gets barreled over in the corner by Bonnet. They'll crash into the end boards and pin him down. Bonnet will. Cuccia has it, looking for just an exit with Oliverio on the far wing. Stick tapped by Valise, and we've got a whistle as an injured Tampa player is down in the Owls trapezoid. That's Nick Fontaine. He was into a collision with Henry Bonnet behind the goal. Laying flat, he's been in that position for the last 10 to 15 seconds, and now the linesman will motion towards Nick Kuzlik, head coach, to come out. They need to get a trainer out here. Mike Flaherty is the one on staff for FAU. .12 to go in this first period. Still scoreless. A collision in the end boards with Nick Fontaine, who was dropped and didn't get up. So we pause here to assess the injuries. With some help, Fontaine will get to his feet. He's a gritty player, the junior out of Bedford, New Hampshire, product of the Tilton Prep High School. He was really big in their run to nationals a year ago. He had 2 assists in the national championship game and was named the all-conference third team in 24-25. Gives you the scope of what he means to this Tampa program. It's one with 13 seniors on their roster and as many as 16 or 17 upperclassmen. So we'll resume as Fontaine gets back to the bench under his own power. The defense for Tampa, Tim O'Connell playing with Tyson Sylvia, number 88. They fed it deep to the zone for Penetrante. He gets lifted by Ronan Keenan after. Oliverio wanting to pick it up. Lost handle. Back out in front. Shot on Stevens. Stood aside. Penetrante was looking for his third in as many days. Cuccia with Pepe along the FAU boards need a change. That'll allow them to bank it off the boards. Tampa reclaims. Sylvia gains the red line and dumps it in. Tove is after it. Hounding him, Satterdalen. He'll lift it. Big stretch pass connects. Stabile to the net. Stopped by Fontana. Tried to go backhand and feed it blocker side. Tove with a one-timer. Backdoor Fandon. Finn Moore would have had a beautiful chance. It's a broken stick for Daniel Tove as he's replaced by Seefeld. Satterdalen has it behind the goal. Seefeld intercepts him. Tampa wants to break out with a lone man on the far wing. Good job defensively, Ziemba, to get on that side on Penetrante. Back on side, shot right in the goalpost. In the slot that came from the wicked wrister of Ben Cleary. And Stevens thanks his post for giving him the assisted save on that attempt. This Tampa group gets on a hurry. FAU has only led in this series for as long as 42 seconds. As Jake Murphy had, or rather Ronan Keenan had the go-ahead goal yesterday, and then Penetrante scored his first of the contest moments later. It was a wrist shot from the right wing past Rocco Bruno. Toughest weekend for a while for the junior netminder. Allowed 14 goals in 2 games. Big hit laid, dropped it off though, paying the price. McCann in front trying to feed it, back into the play. Puck in the blue crease as Zeeland, the sophomore out of Hoffman States, Illinois, was bearing down on Gunnar Stevens. And Zeeland did not play yesterday. He's back in here for game 3. Had an assist with McCann on a goal in game number 1. Just 1 assist on the year for him. There's a shot right off the face-off. That was fought off by Gunnar Stevens. Came from Seawagon, number 29. Finn Moore with the near corner boards. Tampa hems the zone. Sustained pressure on this Owl group. Georgiano might have touched that puck. Regardless, icing is called. Thought they might have waved it off. This officiating crew has been busy with the icings. They had a couple of mismanaged ones yesterday. It's a different crew here tonight. Not in its totality. Face-off will come to the left of Stevens. Won by Spartans again. Slap shot, well wide of goal from Griffin. Allows Thander to speed past the red line. Floats it into the trapezoid of Tampa's zone where it banks off the far boards. Fresh line out there for FAU with Bonnet. Off the skate of a Tampa player and out of the skating area. 11:22 left in this one, and a very fun weekend for both FAU teams. M2 finishing up with Tampa. M3 went 1-1 against Kennesaw State. They had a great comeback 6-5 victory on game 1. That was Friday night, very late. We got out of here as late as 1 in the morning. And then Kennesaw State with a resounding thriller win, 6-4 on night 2. FAU is offsides. And the big story was FAU president Adam Hasner visiting the club program here at FAU on Friday with a great crowd on hand. This awesome staff led by Christina Serafian and Kim Casey. Have a bunch of volunteers here to really set up an awesome operations department. Every game coming here feels like a spectacle. And the Boca Ice Center is a great host, now the new official home of both M2 and M3 teams. The next time this M2 team will play after this game, though, will be the Battle at the Beach from their old home, the Panthers Ice Den in Coral Springs, Florida. Here's Baser. Shot one wide of the glove side. Biller after it, keeping the forecheck. Bonnet at the right wing. Missed it wide on the same side as Biller. And a stretch pass connects. Valise has a break to the net. Scores! Right on cue. Cole Valise has his third goal of the weekend. And Tampa, for the third straight game, has the first tally. And that one was set up masterfully on the near boards. We'll get the announcement of the assist in a second. And a defensive breakdown for the Owls leads to a fast break and an even better finish for the fifth year out of Rockville, Maryland. Scored his first 2 goals of the season in their 9-2 win over this Owl group. He was one of 2 guys with 2 goals in that game, along with Satter Dahlin. The Gonzaga College High School out of Maryland, he's a product from. Great AAA product. There's a shot on Fontana. He fights off from Ronan Keenan. It floats back into him, and he'll swallow it up, melt the play down for another draw. Owls have really been outmatched in the face-off circles this game, and for most of this series. They have been using some different people, mainly this man in the dots with Pepe. Fontana has an equipment issue. That's what this pause is for. He'll get his glove and blocker back on with the stick. But usually they're pretty comfortable with having Jackson Neuendijk take those draws, which he is getting better at, still just in his 3rd weekend skating. He had as long as a 6-month pause from his time at Canisius, getting down to South Florida here. Transferred to FAU this year. And we've told you a lot about him. He had the tying goal yesterday, 5-on-3, shorthanded. This one is blockered away by Stevens, but Tampa was called for an offside. Needing a fresh puck is the linesman, so that will allow Tampa to change for now. FAU will keep out there Ronan Keenan. Keenan will take the draw. Pepe's kicked out now. And Keenan is also a center that, for the most part, can take those draws well. Tampa has really done a great job with the likes of Alex Moeller and company, keeping those at bay. They don't set up too many set plays, although they have tried it a couple of times. So I've yet to see a goal right off a face-off in this series. There's a block shot under Cuccia. Staying with the play, though. Inside, Nathan Hargest. Back-to-back starts for him in this series. As Moeller gets pressed to the boards, allows Keenan to flip it up, but not out. Held at the line by O'Connell. Now Keenan, the transfer from UNLV, will skate alone. Fresh lines coming out there into race it is number 15, David Ross. Hillhound Penetrante. Got it back, connected. Hargest. Face full of a owl sweater and Ross. Lifted. Exiting the zone, Locker, number 8. And Tove has it for the white team. Stabile gets crunched to the near corner boards. O'Connell, a veteran defenseman, laid it. Danny Griffin sent it the length of the ice, and an inadvertent icing will not allow their lines to change. It's been like that a couple of times to start this first period. Tampa, though, as we just made the point about their face-off win probability, more likely to win these than not. And once again, they get to the puck first. It allows a streaking forward, falling to his knees, O'Connell, playing a hybrid role there as he lost an edge. He'll go off to the bench now, as button backing is Ben Cleary. Give it up for Griffin. He'll survey the neutral zone. Forwards it ahead. Lifted over the stick of Ben Cleary. After it, behind the goal, is Bonnet. This one trickles to the far corner. Stabile helps out at the point. Griffin, who holds it in. Shot tipped wide from Bonnet's stick. Tampa's McCann after it. Zeeland gets past the defender. Griffin swings it left side into the paraphernalia with no rebound for Stevens. Coming up for Tampa, they have some big matchups to look ahead. They'll have Tennessee this coming weekend for a road series. They'll play the next 4 on the road. October 10th and 12th at the Volunteers, and then a big matchup against the reigning M2 ACHA national champions, the Lindenwood Lions, at St. Tine Community Ice Center, October 18 and 19. And that game, if Tampa is as good as they've looked in this series, would have major implications on the rankings for them, as they are going to try and compete for a spot in the Southeast Regional come February. This puck stolen by Thander, and the Owls got a shot on Fontana, and a pad stop floats it out to center from a help defensively by the Tampa forward Cleary. Finn Moore will butt and hook. Gets pressed hard by the defending Caden Hardy. Tampa winning the neutral zone in this first period. Gets it on Stevens behind the goal. Finn Moore leads it for Seafelt. Biller stopped at the half boards, pursued by Seawagon. Nearly got it turned over. Seafelt after it again. There's a men's league game going on behind us, so if you hear those whistles, it is not for the action on ice. We'll let you know when those happen on this game. Leon Biller, stretch pass, looking for Georgiano. He was cut off. Great job by Alwyn Lyon to prevent Georgiano, the newcomer, from getting a shot towards the net. And Stevens never received one from the Tampa side either. Rather a fast break. Line changes going on for FAU. This is Jackson Neuendijk, number 92. Skates wide of the defense. Tampa defends the house. Right wing at the top, looking for the shot. Opportunity, Bonnet. That one directed off a skate of a Tampa defender. Behind the goal, a number of bodies. Swing it up. Thander lays a shoulder. Rather, Neuendijk trying to hold it in. Biller unsuccessfully. And Tampa will retreat as it was sent back immediately by Ziemba. Owls spread out their defense in the neutral zone. Stapert unable to connect with Felice, the only goal scorer of this game on a breakaway, as Neuendijk's pressed. Baser lost handle of the puck. Tampa connects with Zeeland, alone over the wing, lifted by Ziemba, allows Kuchia after for Neuendijk. He'll stay on side. Kuchia swung it to the far wing. Nobody home except Stapert. Zeeland once again sets up. Quick moves to the left wing. Shot. Stevens stopped that. Swing it back up. A lane if they want it. Pressed well by Pepe. Now Valise winds up. Pad stop Stevens. Stapert unable to hold. Here comes Ronan Keenan, 93. Had the tying goal yesterday. Felice near 2-on-1. They get back defensively. The Owls have help. Finn Moore, Oliverio, great job clogging up the middle. Kuchia as they spread out. Keenan would have been offside if they touched it. That pass would not connect. Feed for Gieterman. Racing in after. O'Connell paid the price from Tove's shoulder. Moore is there. Rim the boards. Tove exits. Stabile wants to enter. Underneath his skate, he'll have to race it for the icing. He wins that battle from the trapezoid. Tove has it back, number 41. Ross calls for it for a moment. He'll give it out to Oliverio. Sent a shot. Never got through O'Connell at the high slot. And allows out to center Penetrante. Number 9 loses handle. Help on the back end now with Setter Dahlin. It's rimmed deeper by O'Connell. Stopped. Left side. Blocked in front again. Owls get numbers to the slot. They want to free it up for Ross, who will flip it the far wing. Tove breaks out and re-enters the zone. Around a defender. Calling for it. Ross in the middle. Cut off defensively by O'Connell. Stabile unable to round him. And now they will free it up for Tampa to defensively move it for Penetrante. That was a near drop centering feed. David Ross would have had it, and Tampa stymied defensively, keeping those corner posts from Fontana. FAU has not had a whole heck of a lot going on offensively in this opening frame. much of the same story in this series. Tampa outshot them in both periods. There's one tipped wide by Griffin, the captain. They were outshot in the first period in both games, I should say. At center ice, McCann stolen as Pepe wants to enter. Georgiano in the middle, shot on Fontana, early whistle, and do we have some here? We have not had a penalty in this game yet. And they called it offside. Very close there. I don't know if that was Georgiano or Seefeld who was called with that. Owls try to re-enter the zone anyway. Thander pressed by two defenders that will come into the skates of Oliveria, who will just backhand it into Fontana. Thander will pursue and then cause a face-off with 3:07 to go in this first period. We talked about Tampa's schedule, and a reminder coming up for this Owl group. The next time you'll see this team is the Battle at the Beach. They'll take on Embry-Riddle M3 in the Battle Division. An expanded format, 8 teams this year on 2 separate 4-team brackets. A mixture of M3, AC/DC, and this M2 Owl group. Trying to go back-to-back as champions in their home tournament. Tampa re-enters, funneled along the near boards by Hardy, stolen by Neuendijk. Wants Baser, the speedster, onside, wanted to return it back deeper. Neuendijk absorbs a check. Baser negated by good defensive moves by Lyon, number 6 in black. Neuendijk shouldered away by Griffin. The bigger body allows Tampa to get numbers on this near wing. They'll race up ice. Carrying with it, Lyon gets around for a moment. Baser, he gets tied up. Officials tell them to move. Finn Moore, Oliverio for Baser. Cross ice, hands it for Neuendijk, who lost handle. Puck hit the linesman from Ben Cleary. Stolen, Valise looking for 2. He scores! Some turnovers by the Owls in the neutral zone. Valise jumps on it, and he's got 2. What a job by the alternate captain. Has been an integral part of this Tampa team this series. That's now his 4th goal of the weekend. Somehow was left off the score sheet yesterday, and that is a suffocating play as Gunnar Stevens moved in his crease. Valise, what's more impressive about that is he almost lost that puck trying to go backhand, forehand, and recollected it to shoot it past the blocker side, low pad of Stevens. So 2-0, much more of the same as Tampa, not done yet, but there was some miscommunication between the legs of Valise, who was in the high slot. They led by 2 goals in the first in game 1, and they ended the period yesterday up 1-0. The point that matters is that they have had a 2-goal lead that stretched to 3 and then some multiple times in this series. This Owl team only led by what we counted was 42 seconds in yesterday's game, in an incredible comeback, down 3-0. They had Jake Murphy doing most of the scoring. Their top line really did it all. And can't be understated how important it is to not get down on this Tampa team that is very, very pesky, and they don't give up too many errors. Satterdahlin, he's been big this series. Drops it in the high slot. Braden Giederman, number 13 in black. Hounded defensively, gets smushed to the boards by Keenan. Held deeper, and now Lawhorn can't connect with Satterdahlin. Moeller seals the wall. Back to the point. Intercepted by Keenan, as that was a return feed from Penetrante. They'll get back on side. Cuccia, miscommunication with Keenan, and that's a couple of times there where just their breakouts and their zone entries are not clean. FAU really struggling in the first period this series. And those woes continue with 52 seconds to go in the first frame. Nice connection. West to east, Braden Giederman with Moeller. had it stolen. Oliverio wanted to send it the length of the ice. Satterdahlin got in the way of that. Might have helped him out, though, as David Ross touches the red line, goes after it. Sylvia directs this for Moeller. Shoulder down by Tove, loses an edge. Tove will fight for it to keep on side. Ross will, calling for it in the middle. Stabile, pad stop by Fontana. Stabile lays the shoulder. Satterdahlin falls. They hold at the far point. Oliverio towards the net. Blocked down in front. Loose in the slot. Second try. Fontana caught a piece. And a return in the middle. Held on side with Moore. Gives it to Oliverio towards the net. Wide. Under the legs of Stabile. Finmore, one last shot with 4 seconds left in the period. And we got a whistle. And we've got our first infraction of the game. It's a holding penalty on FAU's Stabile. And just with 4 seconds left, that is an absolute killer to their momentum. If they had it going, maybe one more shot attempt. Some really good looks in that last period. That was probably the best they had of this entire frame, those last 30 seconds. Oliverio trying to get it through some moving screens. You had Keenan in front trying to bang away at it. And ultimately the Owls cannot capitalize. Still 2-0 Tampa. And they've got another face-off where the team in black has been great tonight. And FAU, a good face-off win, will just hold the wall. And the clock expires after 20. More of the same. Tampa controlling things, trying to sweep this series against their M2 rivals. We'll return in 15 minutes time. You're watching an M2 College Hockey South matchup between Tampa and Florida Atlantic. We're back with you for the start of the second period. Cole Valise for Tampa has 2 goals in this game and 4 overall on the weekend, as this number 1 team in College Hockey South Men's 2 picks up where they left off. They have led by 2 goals and as many as 3 in every single game so far this series. We'll see if they get the third go ahead. And interesting enough about Cole Valise in his stat is now he's the 3rd different Tampa player to have a goal starting in the first period among the first 3 scorers. You had Satterdahlin starting things on Friday night. Then he was joined with Caden Hardy and Robbie Seawagon. It's been a full team effort for this Tampa group. They are well coached. Nick Kuzlik has gotten these guys on a whim, and being the reigning champions, their only loss in the last, if you're dating back to September of last year, they had the loss against this FAU group on their opening weekend, and then they went undefeated through the conference and then the national tournament, and their most recent loss was against South Carolina. Well, Tampa overcame some real unforeseen circumstances, and Fontana in net to our right was terrific yesterday. He had a really tough go of it against South Carolina in their second game. He allowed 4 goals on just 9 Gamecock shots before he was eventually pulled. And I said to Nick Kuzlik, you know, jokingly of course, Kyle Meyer's an old guy. He's got to get his rest. But of course, Meyer, one of the best in College Hockey South. He's a former all-conference second-team goaltender. But Fontana has been given the start, and he's done well. This is Tampa starting with a power play after a holding call on Emilio Stabile with 4 to go in the period. 4 seconds, drop-off pass. This one quickly moved by Moeller, intercepted in the far wings. David Ross comes in to fish it out. Billy McCann, number 5, helps it. Satterdahlin stretches it back to the top of the point. Stapert will tag defensively with Giederman. Right side, Giederman one-timer on Stevens. Loose in the slot and freed up by McCann. Wanted to get it back to his winger on the left side. That was in Stapert. The reverse field reset the forecheck power play. 55 to go in the extra attacker here. With McCann, a man up. They score! That one was a wicked shot on the right side. And now for the 3rd consecutive game, Tampa has a 3-0 lead. It's Alex Moeller. And Moeller has contributed on the first 3 Tampa goals in every single game this weekend. Yesterday had the 2nd goal. On Friday, he assisted on Satterdahllin's opener. By the way, he had an insane between-the-legs feed that made the highlight reels on the College Hockey Buzz Instagram page along with Tampa's Instagram. So Moeller followed up with 2 Cole Valise goals, and Tampa once again controls this game. And FAU has been searching all series for an answer early in contests. They rang the goalpost right there. High slot shot from Pepe wouldn't go. Greatest sound in the world right there, Ronan Keenan, but not if you're an Owl fan. Christian Kuchia after it, unable to steal it away from the forward in Havlovic. Dancing around Oliverio. Good job hemming the zone here by FAU. Pepe wanted to feed it out in front. Defensive block by O'Connell from the passing lane allows room to break it out. And exiting, Seawagon with speed has Havlovic in the middle. Goes in after it, beats Oliverio to the puck. Wanted a quick feed at Havlovic, couldn't get a shot off. O'Connell barrels over Kuchia on the far wing. Oliverio's in there in the corner. He'll tap the puck forward for Sylvia, who intercepts. Keenan backtracks along the official. Both Spartans in Sylvia and Havlovic unable to clear it out. Back them to the point, and this one, Sylvia gets knocked down in a big way by Keenan, showing off some of that size for the transfer. 6'6" on skates. This one pinged off the near glass and out. The Owls, though, iced the puck. They did not gain the red line, and more of the same. It's really evident with Christian Long and his group that they were in penalty trouble in this series. They were 0 for 4 on the kill in game 1, allowed the first power play goal yesterday on Alex Moeller's second, and then they stymied them 1 for 4. But with that power play and that opportunity, that's now the 6th power play goal for them this weekend. In a difficult spot, this FAU group. They just really have not been able to help themselves. You cannot give a team as good as Tampa time to work and an extra attacker. There is a purple balloon in front of our broadcast stand that is floating down ever so painfully slow. It's going to reach the ice at some point. We'll see if you see that on your screen. Ronan Keenan sees the balloon, distracts the defender, goes hard to the net, stopped by Fontana. And I think the balloon's gone. I think one of the FAU Owls flung it out of the air into their bench. Maybe that gives them a spark, the purple balloon. Ziemba, and they need something. They're down 3-0. Just allowed a goal for Alex Moeller through the legs. That one, Neuendijk in the middle, couldn't connect with Biller. Held on, kicking it. Bonnet wanted Biller. And skating up but not out. Leon for Albert. And now Biller frees it up. We've got a delayed call. It was a late whistle. Did they call this offside? They did. Officials let them go for a while before they finally whistled the offside. This is a 4-man crew tonight. 4 official crew, that is. 2 linesmen, 2 officials. Some odd sequences to start this second. Can FAU get some production out of their top line? Neuendijk, good job sealing the post area, not allowing a centering feed on Gunnar Stevens. Stevens' shots were 10-6 in favor of Tampa in that first. Stopped 8 of those and has somewhat settled in. Tampa's had the majority of chances. Wraparound try, foiled by the netminder of FAU, and they'll break it out. Onside, Biller. Neuendijk in the middle. Can't get around 2 defenders. Good job, Satter Dahlin, allowing a racing Moeller. He'll cut inside towards Stevens, and Baser boxed him out, and the puck trickled in on Gunnar Stevens. And a reminder that only one game going on for M3 and M2 Owls this weekend, or next weekend rather. M2 gets a weekend off, and the M3 team will take on Embry-Riddle in a home-and-home. They will have a lone game on Sunday here at Boca Ice. That's October 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have the call for you on that. A split series, the M3 team off to a rough start. Talked about penalties plaguing this M2 team. The M3 team takes a bunch more. They've had now 4 games this year where they have taken 7 or more penalties in a game, and they had 2 consecutive yesterday, having 5 in the first period alone. Andrew Yagoda in his second year has some work to do to fix some of the problems with that crew. Daniel Tove wanted David Ross behind him. He was intercepted and flown out to center by Penetrante. Rawson, the opposing forward in Cleary, send this to the trapezoid. Bonnet directs traffic for David Ross behind the net. They'll get Tove back on the ice at the neutral zone. Ross wants an exit, has one. Fight forward ensues at the far red line. And now it's intercepted and still moved along by Hardy. Connects with Seawagon. Robbie has been solid in this series as well for Tampa. He has 4 points and 2 in this series after helping them out, the 5th-year senior. Ziemba crunches Seawagen to the boards, and he's hurt. Number 29 down on 2 knees, and we're going to get a stoppage of play. Just mention his name, the Longhorn, Pennsylvania native. Had 2 goals in their 9-2 win on Friday night, and he got boarded into the corner and stayed down for a little bit. Up to his feet now. He'll skate away to the bench, but not without, I believe, an FAU penalty coming up here on Ziemba, and it is for boarding. Tampa already 1 for 1 on the man advantage. We'll go back to it again. They have 6 power play goals on 10 opportunities this weekend. Let's see what they got. Braden Giederman. Turn it over. Thander. The Seatfelt hounding McCann, the 5th-year senior. That forward for North Reading, Massachusetts. Scored his first goal against FAU in game 1. Bowler tried to cut inside. He has the most recent on this power play. Satter Dahlin finds room at the far wings. He'll look to go cross ice. Connects with Stapert. Well defended. Staring him down defensively is Thander. Giederman thought about a shot. Left it for Satter Dahlin. Now for Stapert. 24 in black. That's Satter Dahlin. Fed it in the middle. Bouncing puck. Unable to be whacked out by FAU. Giederman holds it deeper. They'll go cross ice again. That one just too far away was Stapert. He'll retreat to the neutral zone. They quickly look to re-enter. Seafelt had a chance and does now to clear it the length of the ice. So 42 seconds left in that man advantage. Ziemba for the boarding call on Seawagen, who's back out on the ice. He has the puck, number 29. FAU trying to protect the house. Bonnet into the far corner to scoop it. Blaise Pepe's with him. Falling to one leg, and a delayed penalty on FAU is coming. It's a hooking call. And that was the worst possible time they could have done that. It'll be 20 seconds of 5-on-3. And heading to the penalty box, Henry Bonnet. That's a young player, a freshman from just south of here, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Matha Catholic Prep will join Ziemba. So you get 20 seconds of 5-on-3 for Tampa and a 4-goal advantage would really make this a mountain to climb for FAU. They came back down 3 yesterday with the help of some 5-on-3 of their own by FAU. Jackson Neuendijk wanted to spring a shorthanded chance. Short side stopped by Gunnar Stevens. Back to the right wing. They'll set up with Cleary. Connected cross ice, and they wanted Penetrante just too far away. Out of the box comes Ziemba. He'll get right into the kill. Not in time to intercept Griffin, who'll park out in front. Griffin take a shot towards Stevens. That one's sticked aside. Alternate, Valise, 2 goals in this game. Will dance with it. Up to his captain, Griffin. Swings it right side. Shot loose in the slot. And trying to bang away at it. Cleary couldn't get it past Stevens. The Owls exit. Neuendijk shorthanded. The transfer from NCAA Division I. And wanted to find it between the legs of Griffin. And the captain makes a calm defensive stand. Ronan Keenan, though, keeps this puck deeper from Fontana. And 1 minute is left in the hooking call on Henry Bonnet. Griffin. Forwards for Valise. Onside. Satter Dahlin behind him. The pass helped out on the left side with Penetrante. They wanted it back for Griffin. Fed it Penetrante. Neuendijk has it in the far corner. Wanting to scoop it out. Satter Dahlin comes in. Behind them is Blaise Pepe. Ziemba parked out in front of the net, waiting to see who gets it free. It comes to the Spartans. Penetrante back up top for Griffin. Takes a wrister. Stopped in front. Might have gotten blocked by an Owl sweater. And they have a shorthanded break. Blaise Pepe to the net. Sailed it high and out of play. He had Christian Cucci on the wing with him. And Pepe, who is a big addition to this squad, the sophomore out of Richboro. 1 goal through 6 games to start this season. is frustrated, going to slam his stick on the ice and the bench. And Christian Kuchia, number 27, will also hang his head back to their area with halfway gone nearly in this second. Devin Serra with you. 17 seconds to go in Henry Bonnet's hooking call. Tim O'Connell comes out for Tampa, and that is what the delay is for. Satter-Dahlin digs in on an offensive zone draw for the Owls. David Ross gets after it, wanted to feed Tove. He was intercepted by Satter-Dahlin, and they'll start their breakout with McCann. Drop pass for Moeller. Skates around a man. Moeller back to the right side for Satter-Dahlin. Calling for it up top, Lawhorn. Penalty is over. Shot on Stevens. The rebound, none comes, and he'll melt this play away. So a good kill, 5-on-3 for the Owls. They needed that big. I'll take Tampa 1 for 3 on man advantages. The biggest thing for them is that rebound control. Stevens is a good enough goaltender to make the first stops. It's when you need help in front of him. That's where the defense comes into play. Giederman at the point, friends it deeper. Cleary behind the goal, fed it right side, and that one caught a piece of the stick of Finn Moore up and onto the netting. With 10:02 left in this second period. So now we will get fresh line changes. FAU has really tried to cycle their lines quickly. They wanted to get the second line going with the likes of Keenan and Biller and company. They've done that with Keenan having a tying goal yesterday. This third line, though, currently out there with Georgiano and Kuchia and company, they have been waiting to get going. The newcomers from the M3 team had a good weekend against Miami, but that's all they can say right now to their name. They need some depth to come through for FAU. Tampa has all of it so far in this series. Thander is after Giederman. He'll sidestep a check, get it under the legs, where it was handled by Cleary. Turned over to the Owls. Thander pushes it. Seefeld boxed out. Giederman has it up left wing. He'll spring a rush. Gets onside. Giederman all alone. Finds a lane to shoot, and that allows an easy glove stop for Stevens. And he'll get a late whistle. Some real confusion for this FAU group has been their turnovers. You didn't see them have too many bad breaks defensively against Florida. The only times Florida scored, though, was when they had odd man rushes, 3-1 on night 2. FAU took advantage of every single Florida mistake, and that's really how they got to a 6-0 win, along with Rocco Bruno playing some stout goaltending for his 4th career save at the time. Collected his 5th career against Miami in their 14-0 win. Here's a shot from the point that knuckleballed through a moving screen, but Stevens got it in his pads. If you look at the way this series has gone in even strength, FAU really has kept up with Tampa when it comes to the puck movement and the neutral zone, but it's mostly been some turnovers in their own zone that have led to scoring chances. There's a softie from Griffin into the glove of Stevens, so we'll do it again. And if you're head coach Christian Long, you think about the good things they got with this series. The top line has been superb, like they have the first 6 games of the year. Brady Baser, Jake Murphy, multi-goal performances. Jackson Newendike had himself a hat trick. That's a great sign. I just mentioned a moment ago, it's the depth that's been a problem. Here comes Leon Biller. He's got Baser on the other wing, takes a shot. Fontana fought it off, and the rebound was cleared out by the Tampa defense. This is Alone carrying with it over the left wing area. Lyon backhands. Baser intercepted a man, got it free from a new player into the lineup, Hardy. A new look here for Tampa as they have had cycling different players in and out of their squad in all 3 games. And good players. Moeller rang iron, looking for his second. That one off the glove side of Stevens. Trying to float one over the back of the goal was Moeller creatively. The puck's caught up in the netting, and that's what causes the stoppage of play. And it just really does not feel like FAU can set up a whole heck of a lot of forecheck. It's been Tampa controlling the pace of this one. Moeller made a nice move to get around the defender for FAU there and create that shot that rang the post. They're going to bring this one outside of the Owls zone. So Satter-Dahlin will dig in against Ronan Keenan. Second line back out there for FAU. Swede handed off, broken up by Pepe, stretched out by Lyon. That's going to be called for icing, as touching it will be Bonnet. And so if you're FAU, the face-off circle has not been your strength either. For the sake of simplicity, getting some sort of sustained pressure, movement, cycling high to low, winning board battles is their biggest caveat right now to success. They'll leave Keenan out there, Cuccia on the left wing. They're trying to get him going, the reigning player of the year from Men's Division III last year. Cuccia was a big contributor for that M3 team. 70 points through 22 games. Scored his first as an Owl against Miami as an M2 Owl in their 14-0 win. You just have not seen the fireworks out of him a whole lot so far. This guy can fly. Ronan Keenan, the big body forward, gets around a couple of men. Foiled by a new insert to the lineup in Dylan Tyson Sylvia, helped out with Alex Muller. This is Satter Dahlin with it, 24 in black. Goes wide of Keenan, gets around Oliverio, but not before it's turned over to him. Good job by the alternate captain. Cuccia, dump and change. Stabile, Tove, and David Ross come out. Way over top the head of Stabile. Falls to his knees, stays on that part of the ice. Help coming with Finn Moore. Satter Dahlin, though, behind, wanting to feed it out in front with Penetrante there. They keep it deeper. Penetrante waits, shoots, wide of goal. And out of the zone it flies. Hargest will retreat. He looks to re-enter. Lost handle, Stabile. Poke checked him, and it's floated in by Stapert onto Stevens. Glove it down, and we'll get a draw in his own zone. Just another case right there where you do some good things along the boards, and then Tampa gets one man out of the zone, and now you have to backtrack. It's just been a collective ice tilt, slowly and miserably, rather, I guess, FAU feels at this point, considering they came into this series with a lot of momentum. They came in feeling like they could compete with Tampa, and they have. Right now, it's all Spartans, up 3-0 for the third consecutive game. They have shown why they are considered as one of the best teams in the South in ACHA Men's Division II. This is James Lawhorn, defended well by Seafelt, pressed by Bonnet, connects behind the goal. This is Hardy, takes a shot, fought off by Stevens again. Bonnet worked over from the puck by Valise, wanted to get it there for Hardy. He was lifted. Georgiano, it goes past him. Lawhorn holds the blue line. Shot on Stevens. Rebound. And he'll gobble that one up from Valise pressing. And you don't see as much fire as FAU had in the third when they had that incredible comeback to get the game at 3 apiece, then 4 apiece. And they just look a little tired, a little deflated. Tampa looks like the bigger team right now. They win another face-off draw. Right wing chance, pad stop by Stevens. Griffin intercepted. Here comes Brady Baser, cuts inside, backhand, stop by Fontana. What another great stop! He robs Leon Biller on the follow-up. That Tampa bench is rocking. And there's an opportunity the other way. They score. Ben Cleary. It's 4-0 Tampa. From those 2 great saves by Fontana, they win the race the other side for the puck, separate the defender, and Ben Cleary was all alone in the low slot. Picks the top corner. This Spartan group handily in control over the Owls. That is a gut punch to Christian Long and his squad. That was their moment. Jackson Neuendijk, Christian Cuccia press to the end boards. Griffin with a clean zone exit for Cleary, the most recent scorer, staying out there. Enters the zone. Long shot, wide of the right post. Keenan back in after it. And Finmore will settle back. This is Keenan trying to re-enter the zone. Cuccia after in pursuit. Will get you the assists following the intermission here. A little hard to hear the PA announcements at Boca Ice Center. Danny Griffin sends it the length of the ice. We've got a penalty coming up here. It looks like on FAU. And it's a cross-checking penalty. It's on Blaise Pepe. That's the 4th infraction on FAU tonight. Not what you can do against this Tampa group, and now all of it is gone. And there's a penalty on Stabile coming up. He said something to the official at center ice, and they're going to send him in the box. Stabile getting what you can think is an unsportsmanlike conduct, and the frustration boiling over as this officiating crew putting a stamp on this FAU group. And he skated away very quickly. The center ice, you see on your screen now a conversation being had with Tommy Ziemba. And those two officials over there, the linesman and the official. This is going to be a 5-on-3 power play, I believe. Never mind. Nope. So they don't give a minor to Stabile. If it is 5-on-4, that means this would be in the case for a 10-minute misconduct. And that would keep Stabile in the box. But it stays 5-on-4 with no added penalty to this. Here comes Tampa on their 4th power play of the night. They're 1 for 3 and 6 for 11 this series. Griffin plays tag on the left side with Penetrante. Now swings it right wing. Get it deeper. Valise, quick passes. Griffin, left side, one-timer, and they score! Penetrante! Make that his 3rd of the weekend, and the one-timer for the 7th power play goal by the Spartans this weekend. Not much Stevens can do there. They don't get much better than that. So now you've got 2 power play goals in this game so far. Alex Moeller along with Penetrante. And Tampa is handily getting it in the offensive zone. The penalties starting to mount up for FAU. This is looking like the best team in College Hockey South by a good amount right now. 3:52 to go in this second period. 4 different goal scorers, started by Valise, and then Moeller, Ben Cleary, and most recently Jacob Penetrante with his 3rd. The Buffalo, New York junior had the overtime game winner last night. And for Penetrante, what a job this series. He now has half as many goals as he had all of last season through 15 games. And what I'm counting is just his 4th game. Just adds to the story that this team has so much depth. They do it on lines 1 through 4 and then some. Georgiano getting into a shoving match, and a Donnybrook nearly ensues with Penetrante. Penetrante skates away now. In the bottom right corner of your screen, Penetrante was back playing with a puck, and then on the right side, you might have seen Georgiano take a whack from behind at Penetrante. They're going to send both men off for that. And in a game like this where it's completely one-sided right now, that's the kind of stuff that adds up. It's 4 minutes for both of those two. Call it a 4-minute coincidental major. Don't believe they assessed any double minors on that. We'll have an extended 4-on-4. 3 minutes to go in the second. The Spartans don't look like they're done yet. Ronan Keenan and Oliverio steal this puck away. They try to get onside with Nieuwendyk. The newcomer to the net hard. Worked over defensively. Good job by Tyson Sylvia. Wanted to connect D to D. Intercepted. This is Satterdahlin. Has Moeller there, number 3. Satterdahlin wanted a shot. That was off the skate of Daniel Tove. Immediately stolen away. Pad stop by Stevens. A return feed, and they score. A beauty. Alex Moeller to Satterdahlin for the second time this weekend. FAU, the mistakes mount. Another turnover in their own zone. And with those two, you cannot give them that much space. Satterdahlin with another beautiful feed. That's his third goal of this weekend. And how about Alex Moeller? This guy's been said to have a nose for the net. He has a nose for finding his forwards. He scored in the first 15 seconds in period 1 last year in their 4-2 win over FAU. So this Owl team knows how good he is. One of the best for them at Nationals last year. Tampa hems the zone. They're not done. It's 6-0. They have 3 goals in each period to open this contest. Buzzer is for the men's game going on to the left of us. This is Tommy Ziemba. FAU, a silenced crowd, a silenced bench. They are completely deflated right now. Tove knocks the stick out of the hands of Lawhorn. He'll go back and collect it. This is carried by McCann. Has Gieterman in the middle. Drop pass. Gieterman worked over by Tove. He'll have the puck for a moment. Far wing, stretch pass. Looking for Cuccia, who will win the race for icing, and it is Tampa's Albert Lyon. We're happy to have you join us here on this Sunday evening. Lots of football going on, lots of other sports. Not too much going on around College Hockey South tonight. Florida Gulf Coast, one of the new teams in Men's Division 3. We say M3 as well. Taking on Grand Valley State. That's a pretty big game in that division. Grand Valley has been a contender at Nationals for a couple of the past years. Florida Gulf Coast as well. This is the only M2 game going on. Of course, Florida not playing as well. Valise to the net. Blackhand, he scored! Picked up his own puck. And a beautiful backhander over Stevens. Make that 7 goals. And the hat trick for the Rockville, Maryland native in his 5th year. He is having his way with FAU. AAA product, NCDC, played with the New Jersey Rockets. And the man who scored his first 2 goals of his season against FAU on night 1 has now 3 more to add. Make that 5 for the 5th year. And this is getting ugly quickly. You feared this could happen yesterday when it was 3-0 Tampa after 2. And FAU was able to come back off of a couple of Tampa penalties. But they have absolutely no life right now. Ziemba softly gets knocked over by Griffin. He'll race. There's 18 to go in the period. Griffin onside. Toe drags around Thander. Drop pass. Shot went wide of goal. Off the stick of Cleary. This one will look in the books. Everything. Spartans, 7-0. 4 goals in this period, capped off with a hat trick by Cole Valise. And with Sebastian Fontana making a beautiful stop to spring a rush for the Spartans, they continue to put it on this FAU team that heads to a locker room down big. We'll resume in 15 minutes time. And to finish up this one from Boca, you're watching M2 FAU and M2 Tampa on Owl TV. Buzzer sounds, and we have 20 minutes left to finish this one. It's all Tampa with 5 second period goals, 2 of those on the power play, and with a host of scoring. Cole Valise has a hat trick to lead the way. He's followed up by 4 other Spartan goal scorers going down the line, starting with Valise, Alex Moeller, a great feed to Ben Cleary from Nick Zeeland, and then another great power play goal scored by Jacob Penetrante on a one-timer, and then followed up, finishing out the scoring with Satterdahlin and then Valise. You know, Sebastian Fontana deserves his flowers in this game. FAU only has 12 shots on goal total, but he made an insane stop on this right side of the ice to spring a breakout for his team, Tampa team, a rush the other way, which they force a turnover on the Owls, and then a quick opportunity in front of the slot for Ben Cleary to score. That was the play of the game, because at that point, Tampa completely shut down FAU, both physically and mentally. This crowd has been silenced. The feeling in here is eerie. Owl fans have not seen this M2 team in a deficit like this in a long, long time. And by long, the last time they lost by 6 or more goals outside of Friday was all the way back in October of 2021 to this very Tampa team. Some unprecedented territory. It's the captain, Danny Griffin, out there with a couple of guys that have been well known in this series. Cole Valise, number 21, with Stapert going hard to the net, backhand wide. Gunnar Stevens on a tough night has made some good stops when he's needed to. He's faced 28 Tampa shots, and they outshot FAU 18-6. And that is a microcosm of what this series has been. Finn Moore for FAU trying to get onside. Nieuwendyk to the net, and he scores. Nieuwendyk has his second of the weekend through the 5-hole of Fontana. So in the 4-on-4, the transfer from Canisius gets on the board. That's his 5th goal of the season. Nice job staying on side was that group. And it's not going to mean that much right now. It's a great job for the newcomer. I believe he's a junior academically. Had a hat trick in their comeback win over on Miami last weekend. They were down 3-1 in the first. Nieuwendyk also had a shorthanded 5-on-3 goal yesterday that tied the game up. There's a long shot from the half boards and from Bonnet, or rather Blaise Pepe, and that one is gobbled up by Fontana. And so much of what we talked about is telling you the NCAA experience, right? 54 games with Canisius at the D1 level. But he also played in the USHL for a couple of seasons from 19 to 21. As there's a rush the other way, Alex Moeller, he's got a goal in this game, puts on the brakes, gets around 2 guys calling for it. Lawhorn on this near side, now at the point. Wanting it was Giederman. They elected to go back to the right, half boards in the middle. Alex Moeller looking for a tip on Stevens wide. The last point we'll make about Nieuwendyk is that his lineage, very impressive with the likes of Joe Nieuwendyk, of course, well-known NHLer for a long time. Hasn't skated too much and still getting used to playing with this crew. You see the flashes of his skill. You see the way that he skates fluently. He's one of the best out there, and he's really good at handling the puck. That top line tonight has been completely shut down. Defensively, Tampa has looked bigger. Tim O'Connell's been all over the ice. Danny Griffin, of course, their captain, has led the way in that department. Billy McCann is having one whale of a game as well. You look from 1 to 4, the way that Nick Kuzlik has developed this roster, not to mention they've got some dynamic forwards. That duo with Satterdahlin and Penetrante, or rather, not Penetrante, Satterdahlin and Moeller. Those two are a lightning in a bottle. Every time 24 and 3 in black step on the ice, they have a chance to score. And you just think that for FAU, their biggest thing this year is going to have to be developing some of these younger guys. Finn Moore, a freshman, Henry Bonnet, Blaze Pepe. These are guys that replaced a lot of departures for this FAU group, the likes of Caleb Owens, Christian Cotter, David Israel, a longtime veteran of this program. They still have talent on this FAU squad. It's just that their top 6 forwards make up the bulk of it. Blowing a tire over the line was Aaron Lentz. David Ross wanted to feed him, and that allows Tampa this time to go back and re-enter the offensive zone. That's Billy McCann. Daniel Tove is there. Left side of the ice. One-timer blast by Sylvia into the glove of Stevens. Stop play. And the road doesn't get really much easier for Florida Atlantic here. They do have a battle at the beach. There's only so many games they have in M2 this year because of the transfer over from AAU to ACHA. After that tournament from the Panthers Ice Den, late October, they're going to play another 3-game weekend series against Florida right here in Boca. They'll have 2 more M3 series after that, and then Farmingdale State, which is a very good ACHA program in M2. Of course, Owl fans, you know them from AAU Division 1. And this Tampa team, Spartan fans, you know, beat that Farmingdale team in the national championship a couple months ago. So everything is at stake here. Although FAU is down 7-1 in this game, the goal differential will matter. They're only going to get 6 regular season games against this Tampa team. So you've got to make the most of every shift right now to salvage anything you can out of what is certainly going to be a Tampa sweep here. It's a fight for it behind the boards of Gunnar Stevens. Up at the point. Shot from Griffin knocked down by Seafelt. The lone man free with it. On the right side is Vasiliev. Swings to the cross. Half wall of Tove, who finished his check, and then back the other way. Spartans, good shot on Stevens. He fought off the shooter lane of Caden Hardy. This one's handled by Seawagon. Takes a check. Gets through Oliverio, but not Vasiliev. Those two will separate now. Thander jumps on the loose puck. Smushed to the boards by Seawagon. Oliverio gets to it. Races up left wing through a number of bodies. Floats it in the middle. Biller can't touch it or would have been offside. Tampa's Albert Lyon, one of the new additions to the lineup, gives it for Griffin. Skate away from the opposing captain. McCann connects Lyon. Stretches it, intended for Stapert. Boxed out by Bonnet. Here's Neuendijk, most recent scorer for FAU in this third. He wants a penalty, takes a cross check at Griffin. He lost the puck because he decided to play Griffin instead of the puck. Here comes Valise, the hat trick in this game from McCann. Bonnet pressed to the boards. He'll have to fight against McCann again for it, one-on-one. Help coming from Neuendijk, who doesn't get his stick in there. Valise lifts the puck now. Bonnet separates from McCann now, allows Neuendijk to race out of the wings. Cuccia on the left side, Biller re-enters. Defended really well by Lyon. Forces it out to neutral zone, and Tampa now will enter. 2-on-1 develops for them. Rebound chance, and they score. That initial shot from Satterdahl finished by Billy McCann. It's 8-1 Tampa. It's now the second time in 3 games with 8 goals for this Tampa squad. Their wins this year have been by big margins. 6-3, I believe it was, against South Carolina. Sorry, 7-2, South Carolina. 5-0 against Liberty. A 9-2 W on Friday. 5-4 overtime thriller yesterday. And they're back to a 7-goal advantage. That note we made about the rankings for you folks, a 5-goal deficit or more is a heck of a lot more impactful than a 1 or 2 deficit. Because of how the ranking system works in ACHA, if you win by more than 5 goals, it's almost like a double win against a team that has a strength of schedule that matches your team. FAU, though, not sure what their strength of schedule is going to look like exactly. Still up in the air on that regard. Here's Lawhorn for Tampa. Centering feed through the legs of Vasiliev. Keeping it deeper. Gieterman, fortunate bounce. Did that puck go in? It went off, I thought, Tommy Ziemba right into the left pad of Stevens. And they say he kept it out. That easily could have been 9-1 on a self-imposed deflection. With a Tampa bounce. Nonetheless, it'll stay 8-1. Another face-off win for the Spartans. Left side shot. Went through the blue crease. Bearing down in the net was Penetrante. David Ross. Dump and chase he goes. He's got Aaron Lentz on the following wing. Lawhorn finds that. Gieterman after. Floats it out to center. Through the grasp of Penetrante. Oliverio backtracks. Lentz stood up by setter Dahlin. Will get help with Ross. Kicked it to the opposing black sweater in Hargest. David Ross in 15 has been a great addition for this FAU squad as well. 3 goals on the young season for the Pembroke Pines, Florida freshman. It's been a tough goal of this series for him, though. Although he does have, I believe, a point on the game Friday with Murphy. To double check that, Finn Moore sends it from the red line in. The lone chaser is Thander as the Owls are changing. Sent towards the goal. Fontana denied the near post. Up at the point, Owls kind of get it for Georgiano. He sends a shot in, up for grasping the slot. And unable to pounce on that was Seafelt because he was boxed out by Zeeland. Has a shot, sails high over top of the goal, Zeeland did. And in transition, this Tampa group is one of the best teams I've seen in a long time. There's a nifty feed in front of the goal trying to whack away at it. Zeeland still up for grabs now. That was Ben Cleary who backhanded it. No look pass. 11:42 to go in this third. The time dwindling down. Seafelt re-enters. Got Cuccia and Georgiano. Takes a shot well wide. Knocked down by Hargest. Seafelt connected with Cuccia, but it's got too much smoke on the pass. And Stevens freezes, trying to keep away the opposing 28 from Bonnet. That's Caden Hardy. Left wing looking for Cuccia. Missed and all the way back to the trapezoid of the Spartans' own end. And for Tampa, their schedule we talked about in the second period. Tennessee, Lindenwood. Then they'll have a series with Florida. Travel to Fairfield, Quinnipiac. It's a fairly spread out schedule with a really good M2 strength of schedule. Because teams like Florida could be in the mix for the Southeast Regional. Fairfield, one of those teams that comes over to ACHA. Farmingdale State, November 21st and 22nd is one that we're all going to circle. Might even end up being a game to watch on the Hockey House podcast. And that's just the first semester alone. They'll finish out Boston College, Florida, and then FAU is the final trio of games. They have it in the attack, left side. Stevens made the first stop and gloved it down. It's getting smashed into Caden Hardy from Henry Bonnet. Give you a brief recap of this series as well. Game 1 saw 7 different Tampa goal scorers. The only scorer for the Owls was Brady Bazier. 2 in that game, both were in the third period. Made it close, but Jackson Neuendijk hit the post. Just barreled over, ran that far corner, and he's going to get a penalty for that. he knocked into Caden Hardy, and some more shoving, some pushing. Hardy is frustrated with Bonnet over there. They're going to separate now. But Nieuwendyk, just talking about, had the opening goal, the only one of this third period. He's going to sit. Imagine it's for boarding. And it's just stuff like that that's really mounted for FAU in this series. Gave you the game recap of game one. It was a perfect power play, 4 for 4. Tampa was 1 for 4 yesterday, and now in this game, they're 2 for 4. So special teams have been an important factor for the away team. FAU has not been able to help themselves at times. And what I was talking about with Nieuwendyk was that he rang the iron in the third period on their 5-on-3 man advantage, where Fortescue and Danny Griffin sat in the box. Fortescue had a long penalty. Rather, I'm getting mixed up. That was game 2. Anyway, game 1, they had the 5-on-3, and they could not capitalize. And when Nieuwendyk shot that puck off the post, 30 seconds later, they took a penalty that all but sealed the game from that point. It was interference on Nieuwendyk, a trip by Baser, and just like that, Tampa made it 6-2 off of 2 man advantage goals. And in this game, they have 2 power play goals from Alex Moeller, followed up by Penetrante. You get our gist. It's been a spectacular power play where FAU simply has got to clean up some of the little stuff that they have let mount for them in this series. Blaise Pepe, nice move to get inside the defense. He'll cut hard backhand, tried to. He wants a call, none coming. He's saying Stapert hooked him. It was very close, but this is Tampa's 5th power play of the night. They have been the better team in all 3 games. That's no discredit to FAU. They put up a fight yesterday, but they had to come back down 3-0 again. And they got some help with penalties late in that third period. So, with 9:45 to go, it's 8-1 Tampa. 5 scores. Cole Valise, the hat trick. And they're not done. This guy's been terrific. 24 in black, Satterdahlin. Back for Giederman, number 13. In the middle, Satterdahlin under his skates. Resetting is Stapert, number 12. Stapert takes a look at the net. Trying to knock off Tove. High shot, sails over Moeller. Oliverio, Satterdahlin stole it away from the alternate captain. Right side for Moeller. In front, Tove is there to negate Satterdahlin. Unable to hold the zone. He wanted to get it to Stapert and misfed him behind his back. New penalty kill group out there. Ziemba, Seafelt, Vasiliev, Stabile, number 3, was the lone pursuer there. Cole Valise, 21. He's going to be a guy to talk about all season long. Trying to drive to the net. Ben Cleary sends a shot way out of play. Wanted to pick the near corner. He's got a goal over Stevens in this game in that second. For Nick Kuzlik in their squad, if they can take care of business this first semester, we'll see where the rankings play out. You won't see a first ranking until the end of this month. And even then, it really does not mean a whole heck of a lot until January, in all honesty. That last month, though, is always a highly anticipated time to see who's going to make the cut. The regional this year, no news has been given to me about the tournament format, but what I know is that every team in M2 must earn their spot to nationals this year. In the previous format, 2 teams that were ranked 1 and 2 in their region, granted there's 4 of them, got an auto bid to nationals, and the rest of the teams had to fight for the final 2 spots for a pool play bracket. This year, every single team must win their way to the tournament. So if that regional is expanded, historically it's been as many as 14 to 16 teams, Tampa would likely be in that field if they take care of business. And if they do that, they'll have to win a couple of regional games and they can find themselves in St. Louis come mid-March. back in the attacking zone. Loose puck. Stevens jumped on it. Had Nick Zeeland bearing down, trying to look for his first points. 7:43 to go in this hockey game. Devin Serra with you, and big props to our FAU Owl production team, Owl TV. Mitch Liswith, our producer, he works harder than anybody I've seen in a student-run production. And hats off to this great volunteer staff giving you some great shots with our secondary cameras. They do it all. And I've seen a couple of student-run broadcasts, and this is up there with some of the best. Be sure to watch us all season long. We'll have home games for you here from all three sites: Coral Springs, Baptist Health Iceplex, and of course here at Boca Ice Center. One-timer missed for Cuccia, intended by Leon Biller. That will retreat Finn Moore on a softie as he is bearing down Billy McCann. Neuendijk with Biller. Turned it over. Carrying the puck, Havlovic. He's alone. Tampa's making line changes. Poke checked by Oliverio as he wanted to return feed. Re-entering the zone. Coming in, Hargest. Off the pads of Stevenson. Rather Gunnar Stevens. And then Neuendijk stretches it for Biller. He'll get around one man. Skied over the Boca Ice logo. A nice nifty move, but lost the puck. Then poke checked the man defending Lyon. No fall to the ice. Peeling back to the neutral zone. In comes Giederman. Stolen by Keenan. Boca Ice, Cleary. Through 1 and 2 guys, and good job by Vasilio to prevent him from getting inside as it is swallowed up by Stevens. And a good point to make while we're talking about FAU here. Gunnar Stevens, a tough night for him. Had a great win against Georgia Tech. A lot of this has not been on him. He's been, in all honesty, hung out to dry at times by his defense. There was a breakaway goal to start this game. And FAU has really broken down defensively. They've turned the puck over a couple of times. Very uncharacteristic of a Christian Long team that plays tough. They fight. Their style is tenacity and skill. But tonight it's been all but that. Here's a break though. They got a near 2-on-1 developing. Pepe wanted to return it for Keenan. Fontana's out. He's way out of the net to challenge that. And he poke checked Blaze Pepe to prevent them from even getting a shot on. And Ross gets into it with the opposing Tim O'Connell. And there's going to be a whistle for that skirmish. So they're going to send O'Connell off. I believe. There it goes now. So 2 men to the box, and it's actually Ziemba, not Pepe. So you'll have another 4-on-4 coming up here, coincidental. We've seen just one other of those tonight, and it was a 4-minute one. Tampa scored on that 4-on-4 as well. That was, I believe, Satterdahlin from Moeller. And on a night like this where it's just completely one side dominated, credit to FAU for really keeping their head on a swivel. This could have easily gotten into some post-whistle skirmishes, and it's been like that at times. No Donniebrooks have come of it. Both these guys know how important it is now. Keep their players on this roster. They both have some important scheduled games coming up. Right side, saved by Fontana in the slot. Helped out by James Lawhorn. That springs a race for the puck. Alex Moeller gets after it. Satterdahl and his man. Those two trying to connect for their 3rd time this weekend. Stabile crunches Satterdahl. Help coming with Tove. Lawhorn freed the puck up as Finn Moore hooks Satterdahl. Moeller, though, keeps it onside. Can't find the puck. Satterdahl has a lane if he wants it. Calling for it right side. Save Stevens. And Moeller couldn't follow up on the rebound. Look out. Sailing a shot wide. Giederman. And persistence pays off with this great 4-on-4 of Lawhorn, Moeller. Some more pushing and shoving. Moeller takes one from Oliveira in the near boards. He got into it with Stabile. And now 91, 3 and 41. I just said we were waiting to see if it would get dirty, and here we go. Arm around the neck of Lawhorn. Some more punches come in. Tove has a handful of Lawhorn, and this one's getting out of hand. The officials try to separate them. Tove fishing at Lawhorn. He wants a piece of him, and now every single official is in this scrum. That's Moeller, number 3, got a handful with the linesman. He's jawing at Seafelt and Bonnet behind the play. They're going to send off Stabile and Oliverio. They should be taking Lawhorn to the box as well. And there was some of that chippiness. These teams do not like each other. And it's been all one-sided in this series. So this is going to be a lengthy stoppage to see who gets what here. Game misconducts, what have you. There will for sure be more odd man, or I guess even strength, man down situations here. So 4-on-4 likely for the remainder of this game. Now some of the argument can be here is that a game misconduct and a disqualification are two very different things. That's what Finn Moore found out against Miami. He was disqualified and had to sit in game 1 of this series. Finn Moore is out on the ice talking with Satter Dahlin as they get this thing situated with both captains, Danny Griffin and Leon Biller, number 26. You see on your screen, it's a party in the FAU penalty box. And I just laughed jokingly about whenever you see 3 or more players in the box and one guy has to stand up because there's not enough room. It's kind of a funny little quizum of hockey when you see post-whistle skirmishes. So we won't find any of that out until the next time these teams play, unfortunately. But just know that some of the leadership for FAU, they're going to have to take a hard look in the mirror after what happened this weekend. A 9-2 loss, game 1. They came back in that second game. It made it so interesting. Really a thrilling finish to that. Rocco Bruno stood on his head for most of that contest. This one has just gotten away with 7 unanswered goals. Jackson Neuendijk, 92, has his 5th of the season, the only one for FAU in this game. There's 2 power play goals for Tampa in this one. They have 7 total this weekend. Give you the scope of what this series has become. Next time these two teams play will be in early February, and it will be Tampa hosting at Clearwater Ice Arena, February 6th through the 8th. Catch those streams on Black Dog Hockey. They have a great broadcast over there on the Tampa side of things. And FAU, they got to regroup and get ready for Embry-Riddle from Coral Springs in 2 weeks' time. Here's a shot right off the face-off, gloved. Flashing the leather there, Stevens on the Stapert attempt. So what they come out of this with is the 4-on-4 stays for both Tim O'Connell and Tommy Ziemba. They don't add anything more to the time on that. However, game misconduct announcements coming now. The reason I paused was to hear the announcements. They gave roughing calls to all of the FAU players. I heard 3 roughings on Tampa and no game misconducts. So that means we're not looking at any suspensions for now. Of course, if we enter these results into the ACHA website quick enough, which has been a struggle for a lot of College Hockey South teams to open this season, we might be able to find out definitely. So stay tuned to achahockey.org and both team social medias for any of those announcements. Here come the Spartans trying to go forehand, backhand was Stapert, and Stevens caught a piece with his skate blade. The dying seconds, the Spartans are not done yet. They want more. Griffin in the middle, calling for that, scoring, Nick Zeeland. Zeeland, that's his first goal of this weekend and his 3rd point overall this weekend. It's 9-1. Nicely slid up from the far, fed from the far wing. That one squeaked under the right pad of Stevens. That's one hit goaltender will want back. Good to see for the sophomore out of Hoffman State, Illinois. Not so good for Owl fans. It's been that kind of night. Adding to the complete domination of Tampa. This is a result that FAU, this M2 program, has not seen. As far as my records go back, I can't even find a game where they lost by as many as 8 goals as it stands right now. It's simply as one-sided as you can get, and it's not like it's happened just in the 3rd like Friday. 5 second period goals for Tampa. They led 7-0 after 2 periods. Neuendijk answered quickly, but then the 2 latest goals, Billy McCann and Nick Zeeland. And how about Cole Satterdahlin? He's got a goal and 2 assists in this game tonight. Satterdahlin had the opening goal of this series on Friday night. Him and Alex Moeller are the dynamic duo on that Tampa squad. Pepe will dig in for the draw as we close this game out from Boca Ice Center. Dumped in by Tampa's Ben Cleary. He has a goal in this game. He was the 5th leading scorer on Little Caesars AAA. It's a very, very good AAA program. During his senior year there with that program, came over to Tampa last year. And this Tampa group has some talented players, AAA guys. A couple of really prominent junior prospects. A lot of leadership, guys that wore the C or the A in high school. Nick Kuzlik and his staff, hats off to them on a heck of a weekend. And FAU, they're going to be staring at the mirror wondering what went wrong. It'll be the sweep for Tampa. They pick up where they left off against this group. It was the split series a year ago, 2 really closely contested games. A 3-2 Tampa win, a 4-2 FAU win. But this one has looked a whole heck of a lot different. The experience showing for Tampa and their 13 seniors. Danny Griffin, the captain, to center ice. Ben Cleary unable to handle that. Ziemba has it, entering the zone, dancing around a couple of defenders. He's taken away by Havlovic and gave it right back to Henry Bonnet, who dumps it in. Owls skate gingerly, trailing the play. Havlovic banked it off the boards. Bonnet to collect at the Boca logo. Another dump and chase. This is David Ross. He'll connect with the near half boards. After him, Griffin. Stick lifted by Seawagon. Good to see Seawagon back in this game. He was roughed up earlier in this contest. And as a reminder, we did not see Nick Fontaine, number 89, return after he took a big collision into the boards in the first period. So something to watch for Tampa fans going forward, number 89. Seawagon, 29. Got back to his feet after he took a boarding earlier. 32 to go in the game. Tampa silences FAU. A statement series sweep. They are offside. Or rather, there's something going on behind the play. Seefeld just threw away the stick of Havlovic. And he's definitely going to go sit for whatever time's left in this game, 21.8 seconds. And some more jawing as both teams skate away. The Spartans Alex Moeller having a conversation with an FAU Owl at their bench. We thank you all for sticking with us this weekend. It's going to be a really quick post-game. FAU fans, next week, the M3 team will take on Embry-Riddle in a home-and-home. We'll have that broadcast for you October the 12th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And for Tampa, they'll go for a couple of road series in Tennessee next weekend and Lindenwood the week after that before they host 2 with Florida. M2 Florida, one of only 3 teams, including these 2 on the ice today in College Hockey South Men's Division II. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Look forward to doing this with you again very soon. Great chat, by the way, all weekend long. You guys were awesome and nice to us for the most part. 12 seconds to go. Finn Moore will just flip this to center. And dancing with the puck, Nick Zeeland scores the last goal. And Tampa gets the last word. A dominating 9-1 win. Completing the sweep. Sebastian Fontana, back-to-back wins in goal. And a Cole Valise hat trick caps off their victories over Florida Atlantic. Only goal scorer for FAU, Jackson Neuendijk, early part of the third. Gunnar Stevens will fall to 1-1 in his young season, just his second start. Sebastian Fontana improves to 2-1 on the year. And coming up for FAU, the Battle at the Beach in 2 weeks' time. That broadcast you can find on the College Hockey South YouTube channel. They'll take on Embry-Riddle M3 to start that tournament before they close it out the following day. Tampa moves on to take on Tennessee, and the Spartans improve now to 5-1-0, 3-0. 5-1-0 overall and 3-0 in conference play. FAU falls to 4-3-1-0, and now 1-3-1-0 in conference play. So that's going to wrap it up for our broadcast and also special teams. 2 for 5 ends Tampa in this game. The Owls didn't have a power play. So for all of our production staff, my name is Devin Serra, our producer Mitch Liswith. Terrific staff at Owl TV. Thanks for watching this presentation of M2 Owl Hockey. We'll see you next week for M3 FAU versus Embry-Riddle. But for now, have a great night.